The Husky Huddle, we gather round. Coach Schumann and Steve Cully were never found. They talk about the team with such zeal, strategies and plays. They analyze it well. The stadium's full of cheers and shouts. UConn's got spirit, we'll never doubt. Coaches share their thoughts. It's quite the treat. In this lively huddle we always meet. Huskies, Huskies, we stand tall. With Coach Schumann and Steve Cully we call. Game plans and strategies, we break it down. In the Husky Huddle, our passion.
All right. And here we are for Husky Huddle. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. With me, as always, the coach himself, and it's go time. Dave Schumann. Coach Schumann, how are you?
Good. I just messed with some views here to see which is better. I think that might be better. Okay.
And we also have, as always, the icon himself, the legendary voice of the Huskies, Joe D'Ambrosia. Joe, great.
Good morning, lads. Hope you had a great wild card weekend.
That was great. Those games were great, dude.
Well, until the glass game last night when the Chargers obviously would rather be on the beach than be in
I didn't watch the last game last night.
19-3.
Chargers lost 19-3?
Yeah, they got like 200 and something yards of total offense.
Oh my God.
Patriots had one touchdown.
Yeah, it was a rough one.
Yeah, coming off all the other games on the weekend.
It was
I think tonight will be tedious too. I think Aaron Rodgers will wish he had quit by the time the Texans get done with him.
The Chicago Bears game was phenomenal.
It was unbelievable.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Caleb Williams really showed me a lot in that game. I mean,
now let me ask you a question, because this was on Good Morning Football, which is, other than Husky Huddle, my favorite football show. So
is LeVar Arrington on that still or no?
No, he's never been on that.
Oh, I thought he was on the.
It used to be Nate Burrows.
Oh, Burrows.
Then it was Jason McCourty. Now it's Manti Te'o.
Manti Te'o. Oh, right.
And you know what? He's really good. I didn't like him because he was associated with Diaco, so I had an instant dislike for him. But he's pretty good on the show, fake girlfriend or not. But anyways, so did you see the handshake or lack thereof?
Yes.
At the end of the game between Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur. Right, you saw that. Like Johnson basically.
Yes, because Matt LaFleur is about to get fired. Yes.
Yes.
Well, but that's not why. Because
every time someone says Ben Johnson, I'm expecting a race between Carl Lewis and
no.
That's how old I am. Every time he says
I agree. But anyway, so the discussion is that disrespectful? The fact that he was saying F the Packers in the locker room, which has come out. I love it. I think if you're the Packers and the Bears, you don't have to like one another. It's pro sports. Come on.
No, it's intensity. Yeah, 100%.
I don't think it was disrespectful at all, because at least he went and shook his hand, and he didn't have to, and I know in the locker room he was like F the Packers and all that kind of stuff. I don't have a problem with that, because if the issue is obviously for people is that they're actually seeing it, but that's what goes on in the locker room.
Exactly.
The only issue is that not for, as a coach, that's what you would do anyway. But the issue is that people are now getting inside access, which you didn't even have that 15 years ago to the locker.
Right. As they said on the show, we don't know if George Halas ever said F the Packers or Vince Lombardi ever said F the Bears.
Yeah. And what I've noticed with, like, in the last 5 years with head coaches in definitely basketball and football, and probably pro baseball too, they at first were very resistant to, like, they didn't want all those cameras in there, but once it became a reality, at first they tried to temper the way they spoke. Now they're just like, you know what? This is the reality of how it is. I gotta.
And it's all controlled by it's all sent out by the individual teams' media. It's not somebody from WBBM in Chicago who's shooting this and putting it out. It's the Bears who were putting it out. It
Right.
wasn't Channel 5 in Boston who put out Vrabel
No.
in the locker room. It's the Patriots social media that puts it out.
Social
I
media,
love it.
exactly.
I think the
think
fact
great.
that it shows that there's antagonism and this isn't 11 or 12-year-old basketball or football.
Absolutely.
This is grown men. We don't need kumbaya moments. And if LaFleur didn't like it, and I guess he's coming back, they've already said that if LaFleur doesn't like it, you know what? Next year after the game, win, lose, or draw, don't go out and shake his hand.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't have a problem with that either.
No, absolutely not. Shoot, I totally agree. I totally agree. But I thought that was it. I wanted to get the perspective of a guy who coaches kids. And look, it's different in youth football than the NFL.
Well, I coached high school for 20 years. I was a head coach.
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah.
in high school, one of the things I used to have a huge issue with was like you have to always shake hands, right? And sometimes guys really, really do not like each other. Or you have a game where, I don't know, you're on one side or the other of it. You ran the score up on somebody and that guy wants to punch you in the face, or he ran the score up on you, he ran the score up on you and you want to punch him in the face, right? And now you're going to shake hands, and it's not even the coaches as much, but sometimes it is the coaches. But like if you're the kid in high school on a recipient of that, that's hard to keep bottled up. So
the other night. I'm sorry. Go ahead, True. I thought you were
no. That is my main point. I remember my first year, literally my first year coaching high school football. Like I was like, and I coached at my old high school, and the team was great. I was an assistant, and we had a great team. And I didn't even know that much about the rivalry because it had been 10 years since I had been in high school, and I was away for a while, obviously with college and working. But like, I mean, we didn't shake hands. Like coaches got suspended because there was such an intense rivalry for the last 3 or 4 years leading up to this. I didn't like the coaches did not want to shake hands because they literally, it wasn't that they hated each other. Some of them did, but it was so bad that like you didn't. And my whole thing was, why should they shake hands if they dislike each other? Like all you're gonna have is a fight. I mean,
well, two things on that. One, and Steve, I think this was before you got to UConn. If not, correct me. But Kentucky,
we ran off the field without shaking hands,
and Randy didn't shake hands, and I was totally fine
took
with
us
that.
off,
and I was totally fine with that. And look, if Dan Fanning didn't want to shake Kurt Signetti's hand after he kept Fernando in for the entire game, I would have been fine with that. Screw you. You kept your Heisman Trophy winner in a 56-14 game. Come on, give me a break.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you know,
if you don't like it, stop them.
The whole thing is.
But if you don't like it, you don't have to shake hands with them. That's what
exactly. The whole gentlemanly thing of which is where it all comes from, and I honestly, I'm very good with. I think you're right. Like in youth sports, you should do it unless someone does something really catastrophic.
Because you're setting an example for the kids.
You're setting an example for kids. I think when you play freshman football or freshman sports or JV sports, you should do it. I think once you get to varsity in high school, where you know for a fact that's the point in varsity in all sports in high school, where everybody's there trying to win. Yes, you want to teach values for kids for life, but the coaches are trying to win. No doubt about it. That their big objective is to win games. And once you get to varsity, that looks so disgusting, Steve.
Just think of this.
But you know what? I love them, so I just got to deal with it. But yeah, I think that's the that's the point of it. Once you get to varsity level, if you can shake hands and it's cool, great. If you don't want to for some reason, don't. You know,
I totally agree. I mean, I was surprised that there was so much genial conversation between Fanning and Signetti after the Peach Bowl, because I thought leaving them in, and not just that, but he was throwing the ball a couple times at 49-14 or whatever. I mean, come on, Kurt, seriously. All right, we understand you're a rock star now. You've done a terrific job. We'll see how you do playing a road game for the national championship on a week from tonight, which we'll talk about next Monday. But no, I love the Johnson. I love the Johnson thing. Having said that about Signetti, boy, what a machine they are. Oh my Lord. I mean, seriously, that's a well-oiled machine he's got there.
It's their year for sure. I really believe that.
Yeah. It's like the beginning of the Nick Saban when he really started to be he was just killing teams. That's
You're
what
going
it looks
that far with it.
Well, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Ed Orgeron's championship with LSU, that's among the best teams of all time, but it's not. I think Ed Orgeron's a good coach, but it's not because he was building a juggernaut system. He really put together a phenomenal team. They did a great job. He had some great coaches on the staff.
Right.
But Signetti, I mean, that's what it looks like to me. That looks like potentially like Saban.
Well, and I'm sure Ohio State and Michigan aren't happy that they have to share the spotlight now in the Big 18 because it's just, it's just crazy how good they are. And I do too. I think they'll win at Miami just because I think they're having that kind of year, and Mendoza is that kind of quarterback. And the other thing about that game is, I saw Mel Kiper talking in the New York Post about this. There's a beware of buyer warning on Dylan Moore. That there's people who think he might be better off going back to school for another year and playing in the Big 18 because it's just I mean, he got a little bit exposed. And if you're the Jets and Dylan Moore goes back to college, you're so screwed. You're so screwed. I mean, seriously.
Makes Tyler Simpson look a lot better, I think, too. Who the Alabama
Simpson,
Ty Simpson,
he was supposed to be, potentially like a first rounder, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, he looked not great," but he actually looked better than Moore did. So,
or it might move Johnny Unitas Fagnano up draft boards. Nah.
You know what's crazy? This is gonna sound crazy. I know it's gonna sound crazy. Moore was so bad. Not that he was bad, but in the animated maybe made him look bad. And we'll find out with Carson Beck, who's actually been to the highest. So he's not going to be rattled and any of that kind of stuff. But I have to say the class is so bad, quarterback-wise, that if somehow Fagnano absolutely really impressed, he might move up because
he might get drafted.
Yeah, he might get drafted.
They
definitely.
just won't. They're not going to draft them high just because it's a bad class. They just won't draft quarterbacks. They're just won't
draft some quarterbacks though. I agree with you, Steve, but
but they're not going to take him in the third round just because he is who he is. If it's a bad class,
if he jumps some guys though, he may jump. Could he jump some guys? That's my question.
No, or it could go in the other way, where if he stinks it up at the Hula Bowl, then he doesn't get drafted, and he's an undrafted free agent, and that's the position that you don't see many guys get shots in the. I mean, they bring them in to be tackling dummies for OTAs and stuff, and the early part of training camp because you got to give your receivers reps. But we'll see.
I represented when I was an agent. I represented 4 guys that were quarterbacks that were undrafted free agents. Only one made it, and that was Tim Boyle. Believe it or not,
Tim Boyle. Yeah,
the pride of Middletown and Xavier High School.
Right, he got screwed through. Although he's still kind of like. I mean, but what a specimen physically he was.
Plus,
specimen.
He was the thing I liked about Boyle was he was such a good kid.
Oh, phenomenal kid. Phenomenal.
So let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the comings and goings with your alma mater.
Oh yes,
we've seen Victor Rosa goes to Ohio, so we'll get to
which
see him play against UMass.
expected. Yep.
Mel Brown joins Coach Mora at Colorado State. Cam
Yep.
Edwards, who came out
Michigan
after we
State.
did this last week, joins Morosky at Michigan State. You know, and it seems like Coach Kendall has cast his net and bringing kids in. And again, as we've said in the past, you're getting players from Power Four schools for one reason: they're not playing at the Power Four schools. You're not getting, somebody's not coming to UConn from Texas after starting 13 games for the Longhorns this year, right?
No.
So they got a D lineman from Texas. They got a D lineman from Duke. They got a wideout from Oak State who played at D3 before that. They got a wideout from Youngstown who also went to Slippery Rock. They got a running back from West Virginia who was a JUCO.
Yep.
They got a running back who's been at Tulane in Central Michigan.
And Central.
They got a linebacker who committed to Toledo and then went to NC State. They got a few kids from Toledo. They got a linebacker from Penn, John Lista. They got the quarterback from Tulane who started in the Boca Raton Bowl because the other kid was hurt. They got an O lineman from Rutgers in Toledo, and they got a D lineman from your neck of the woods, Shoe at the Hun School, who went to Wake Forest. So, I mean, look, I think for the first week or so, he's done a really good job, and time will tell how these kids fit into what he want to do. And I'm sure he's not done. I'm sure there's more kids who are coming.
Yeah, I mean,
no, there's plenty more that are coming.
World we're in, right? So, you know, a lot of those guys are going to be, they're going to be getting guys from all over the place, and I think that everything is going to be a wait and see. I would like to see one or two splash players, in just from my thought process, but
yes.
I feel like if we could take, I don't know what we have. Well, actually, Steve knows more what we have money wise, but getting a couple of splash play, like I feel like you need to have an investment in some splash players. I think one of the Fignano for us was, I mean, you could say it's almost luck a little bit, right? That he ended up working out. He wasn't really the guy, and he was kind of like the backup, and things worked out that he became the starter the year before and all that stuff. But maybe we don't have the season we have. We didn't get kind of a little bit lucky with Fignano from that standpoint. But Skylar Bell was a splash guy, turned out to be a splash guy, right? So those kind of guys I think are important. I think those guys are important. If you're going to get them in a portal, they have to be the right guys.
Right.
I mean, Signet, the one thing they all need to be, in order to be really, really a great team, I think one of the things that all your transfers need to be is older. Because if they're older and they're a little more mature, and you have that conversation quickly, because it's a very quick process when you bring them in, but there's no doubt that they make an impact immediately. And obviously Indiana's the poster child for that. So, their average age is 20 on their team, I think is their starters, I think, is 23 years old. And, they have a lot of guys that are 24 and 25 that are starting on their team. You could look right to us with Skylar Bell and Fignano as being older guys, right? Those are guys that are older players, and they stood out. and they made a huge difference. I think running back, they could probably be any age. I don't think that's as big a deal. But like when you got a bigger, stronger receiver, or the tight ends that we had are kind of old, they make a huge difference. Like the 3 tight ends we had, they're all kind of older guys too.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it certainly makes a difference in college football. And it's like unless you are getting the 5 stars, and it looks like the 5 stars or 4 stars when they're younger, it really doesn't make a difference when they're younger, as far as being able to have an impact versus a guy who might have been a 2 or 3 star that is actually 2 or 3 star that is actually a 23 or 24-year-old. They're much more physically developed, and beyond physical development, mature athletes.
Right.
I mean, essentially they're pros. To me, they're essentially pro athletes. Maybe they don't have the capabilities of them, but they're certainly
maturity wise.
Maturity wise, there's no doubt. And it's probably a lot easier to coach them when you only have them for 1 or 2 years with an older guy.
Right.
You can talk to them versus a transfer that might be 19 or 20.
Right. You're talking more than teaching.
Right. So it's kind of like what initially was Gonzaga's success in basketball, right? Like they had 5-year guys when that whole one and done was a big thing.
Right.
They were among a couple of teams that had a lot of 4 and 5-year guys, had a lot of success because of that. Kind of was their model. And you had the other model, right, with the one and dones, and those guys had success. But you could see in football where there's a lot more players, and physical strength is a bigger deal in football than it is in basketball. So it becomes exponential almost when you have it on the football team. Because in basketball, a young guy who, obviously a LeBron comes in there. It doesn't matter that he's 18, right? He's so much better than everybody. And it's not about him getting pushed around, right? So I think that's and UConn had a little bit of that this year, or probably had a decent amount of it. And I think that the teams that are going to be really good, like the fact that Indiana, I mean, obviously he's a great coach and all those kind of things, but they just keep pushing these teams around. They're just physically.
Sean, great to see you, by the way.
Yeah, welcome,
Sean Rabinowitz.
Gentlemen, what's happening? Coach, good to see you. Joe, good to see you as well.
Sean, good to see you. Welcome to our happy home.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, I got to tell you, Cully, you absolutely put the UConn quarterback in a body bag over the weekend.
Thank you. I did my best.
I always love when you go out on your tangents and your rants. And it was, I got a lot of texts, from a lot of people say, "Oh man, that was a great post." You just said what UConn Nation is feeling, and I love it. I mean, I do understand. I was talking to Dave about this, and I understand the business side of this, and you don't want to get hurt if you're coming up for the draft, but to not play that game and then go down and play the Hula Bowl. I mean, I mean, give me a break.
He's in East West Shrine, is he not? Or
he played in the Hula Bowl.
But he played this weekend in the Hula Bowl?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
Yes. His dad left me a 3-minute voicemail.
Oh, that's who sent you the because you texted me that. I couldn't tell who you sent it to.
You got a 3-minute voicemail.
Daddy wasn't happy, huh?
Oh, he was not happy. Yes, and
you know what? Too bad.
Yeah, he wasn't happy.
Sorry.
Well, listen,
I didn't realize that, Steve. I thought he was playing in a different bowl. I didn't know that he played.
They think he's playing in both. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The problem is Lewis Hansen played in the Fenway Bowl, and he goes down. He plays in the Hula Bowl.
Yes, he did, and he did great in the Hula Bowl. Did great,
right? But I talked to him. It's not like the top scouts are there. I mean, there's a handful of scouts there.
No, there's all the Hula Bowl. There's all 32 teams are represented.
Yeah, I know, but it's not their top scouts. It's for guys near the bottom of the draft.
It's on the
Undrafted
fringe. It's
free
guys on the
agents.
fringe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
not like
that's not true. I mean, having been to these things, that's not true.
it is true. It is true. The Hula Bowl used to be a good bowl game. It used to be a major bowl.
They have the scouts they send down. They send down as many of the. They don't have the GMs there.
Yeah, but it's not what it used to be, is what I'm telling you. It used to be
and it's in Florida. It's not even in Hawaii.
Yeah,
but they still have all 32. I mean, the way the NFL draft works, they have all 32 teams there.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
It's irrelevant. What makes the Senior Bowl?
It's not a good bowl game. It's not like a top all-star.
No, the top bowl game is the Senior Bowl.
Senior Bowl. That's it.
Right.
That's
the one that has all the GMs at it.
So how did Johnny Unitas play? What was his numbers?
We don't even know, because guess what? It wasn't on TV.
I think it was on one of those.
That's how big of a game it was, Dave. That's how big your Hula Bowl was.
Well, you're just hating on. You just want to hate on.
I'm not hating. No,
you want to hate on Fignano because you hate.
I'm not hating. I'm not hating. I'm just saying that
you're hating.
You're putting the Hula Bowl above your team.
I agree with you on that.
What does that say about you? You're putting the Hula Bowl, which is a joke of an all-star game.
I wouldn't say that.
It is. There's no one from the Hula Bowl that's going to get drafted before the 5th round or 6th round.
Agreed.
Or 7th round.
Agreed. So but for those players, it's not a joke. I think you're wrong.
It is a joke.
If you want to pick specifically on Fignano because you're pissed off at Fignano.
No.
Yes.
He would have gotten more out of performing well in the bowl game against Army than he would have in playing in this stupid Hula Bowl, which people only went to, by the way, to see Jay and John Gruden. That's the only reason it got any attention.
I'll give you the truth while you're ranting. So
I'm not ranting.
Yeah, you are. You're not giving the truth.
No.
The truth is this. The truth is this.
It would have been on ESPN if it was any good.
The truth is this.
No, ESPN doesn't do any games like that, Steve.
Yeah.
They don't do any games.
The truth is this. The loyalty part is separate from what would help him potentially being higher up. So if he played in the UConn game from a loyalty standpoint and for the UConn Nation and from a standpoint of respect, maybe NFL teams saying, hey, this guy's loyal to his team and I trust him, 110% you're right.
And if he throws for 300 yards against Army.
Right. Yeah, but as far as him throwing 300 yards against Army impacting anything to do with him from a draft standpoint, the only area I agree with you is if the NFL teams will say, hey, this guy was loyal to his team, we could trust him. I would say that holds a certain amount of weight. I don't think another 300-yard performance against Army as far as athletically would have made one bit of difference one way or the other. But the point is this. The point is this. I think Hansen, who played in both, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. Hansen looks great from a standpoint of he played in both, meaning he was loyal to his team. But I think and played in the bowl and did well in the bowl. I don't think if Hansen played bad, let's say Hansen played bad against Army, which he didn't, but let's say he did. He actually had a great game against Army. If he had a bad game against Army, I don't think it would have affected anything too much one or the other. If he having a good game against Army, probably helps him a little bit. Doing good at the Hula Bowl probably helps him a little bit. Ultimately, for Fignano, the thing that is damaging is he's got to answer questions on all those things. So you got to answer every single NFL team, which as a parent,
I don't think every single NFL team's going to even talk to him.
What's that?
I don't think every NFL team's going to even talk to him.
No, but when you're down there, let's say 15 teams talk to him. Okay. You have to answer that question 15 times.
Yeah.
15 times you got to answer why you decided not to play in the bowl game and come. So I think that part, I think you're 110% right on.
And what do you think that answer is?
And Sean, that's my issue.
Oh,
he's
his
a
answer is going to be
seventh-year
simple.
senior. He
It's
said
gonna be-
he could have stepped up and said, "I'm going to rally the troops. I'm going to rally the team.
But
I'm going to get them behind this bowl game."
He didn't, right? And
he didn't.
That is what it is. He didn't. But has he answered that question yet to say,
Yes.
hey, I didn't play because of X? Is it just
Yes.
injury? That's it?
No, the answer was because they took a team vote early on, and he claimed that 40% of the team wanted to play in the bowl game, voted that way, and 60% didn't.
Yeah, but that's obviously bullshit because more than 40% played. So
I know.
I think Steve's right. Initially, there was some sort of
yes, and then my post motivated
it.
them. Yes.
Yeah.
They all watch my post. I'm dead serious.
Come on. Seriously.
I mean,
I wouldn't make that up.
Come on. Put Fagnano aside. It's a sad state of college sports when a team's voting to not play in a bowl game.
And that's what happened. You know,
it probably happens in a lot more. I would say it happens in a lot more places than
100%. Yeah,
Iowa State, Kansas State voted.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame just made the decision. They didn't even vote.
Yeah. I agree with that.
You're seeing 5 and 7 teams in bowl games. And Sean, it's hard enough to watch bowl games as it is, and we're watching 5 and 7 teams in them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it continues. I mean, you look at. I mean, if you're a sponsor, right?
You're right. Yes, exactly.
I mean, you know, I guess like you think about wasabi. Right. I had to Google what they did. You know, I would understand.
Me too. I didn't know.
I didn't know what they did.
I had to do it last year.
I had to Google what they did. You know, I get the regional thing, right? Like if you're a regional player in the Northeast, regional business, and you got Army and UConn, great. But like as a national brand, I mean, I just don't understand why you would do it. People just aren't turning. I mean, look at the Citrus Bowl with who was it? Oregon and trying to think one of the playoff games. It was empty. Yeah, I mean, and that's the Citrus Bowl.
Yes. Yeah. I remember seeing that. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
I was shocked at that.
Yeah, I don't know how this just how it continues. You know, it's a sad thing. It's a sad thing to see where it is. But then again, you had some great playoff games.
Can I just interrupt for a minute here because I've looked at 3 different sites. And I have not seen Fagnano's name mentioned as having played in the Hula Bowl.
No. I know that he did. I know that there's no box score.
They list 6 quarterbacks here, and he's not one of them. They list kids from Monmouth, Tulane, who I guess had a good game, Virginia Tech, Mississippi State, Rutgers, and Southern Miss.
He was playing in the East-West Shrine game.
He is playing in the East-West Shrine game.
So then why are we talking about the Hula Bowl with him?
I was yelled at that he played in the Hula Bowl yesterday, and it was on the CBS Sports Network. And
I can't believe he called and left you a voicemail. That's aggressive. I like that.
The father did.
Yeah.
Did.
Even worse.
How does he have your number?
Because he called me before.
Oh.
To yell at me. So yeah.
You guys are buddies.
Yeah, we're good friends. Because
not anymore though. Not anymore.
When I made the comment that he abandoned his team and quit out his team, he called me. And that's when he told me.
He's going to be calling you again when he watches this.
He left his freshman quarterback out to dry. If he was such a leader, he left the Jose Farrar kid out to dry.
Yeah,
Hassan Farrar. Yes, he left them out to
dry.
Jose
Farrar was a dancer. That was a joke.
Oh, okay. But that was my issue, and I said he abandoned and quit on his team. This is a 7th-year senior. And then my other argument was people are comparing him with Orlovsky because his numbers, he only had 1 interception. Dan threw, I think, 10 that year. He had 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and Fignano could have broke the record. And there's his dad told me seriously that Ty Simpson could not have played at Maine like Joe did and put up the numbers that Joe did at Maine. And I normally would not have made that public, but I am making that public now because I know I am an asshole and I can be called an asshole. But there's a select group of people that can call me an asshole. So
know what? I'm checking. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Saying that Ty Simpson would put up better numbers at Maine than, saying Joe would put up better numbers than Ty Simpson at Maine is blasphemy to me. So he couldn't play in the wind and the cold, and he hated up there, and Joe was just big and physical, and he was a wrestler, and he's tough, and just that's who he is.
Well,
so I call that delusional.
In fairness to the old man, okay? In fairness to Mr. Fignano, what do you expect the father to say? No, my son sucks? I mean,
no, but you
again, I'm looking at the East-West Shrine Bowl rosters, and Fignano's name's not on it. So good. I don't know where he got these late invitations to go to all these games, but he's not listed on the East-West Shrine Bowl roster.
I hope he's not listed anywhere.
Right. When you look at this, it's so weird, the whole Fignano thing.
I hope it's pulled out. I hope he pulled out everything.
It says he accepts a trio of invites.
Yes, 3 invites. That's that, and that's what
no one accepts. No one plays in more than
3
one.
3 All-Star games. I know.
No one plays in more than one.
Right, exactly.
That is why I was arguing with people on Facebook. They were saying, "Oh, he's playing in this All-Star game, that All-Star game, this All-Star game, that All-Star game."
I've never heard of that.
No,
Sean, if it goes black, just try logging off. Okay, he logged off right now. But yeah, they said that he was, he pulled out of our bowl to prepare for these All-Star games.
Nobody plays 3 bowl games. That's pure.
Nobody does.
That's pure delusional.
And it was, Mike Burton had told me about the Hula Bowl and said that he did okay. But otherwise, of voicemail, I did not hear of him. I mean, it was on CBS Sports, so I'm going to go back and look. The network.
I have to make a correction because this shows how bad these games are now. The East-West Shrine Bowl hasn't even updated their team selection thing because they have Shedeur Sanders still on there. So these bowl game, these All-Star Bowl games, they're not exactly run with the best interest of publicizing themselves at heart.
Exactly.
So anyways, I want to get back to UConn. Did you see your boy Nider's going to West Virginia?
West Virginia, yeah. No, yeah, I saw that.
Carson Kennedy and Chadwick's going to Virginia Tech.
Yep, I saw that.
Vince Carroll Jackson's going to Georgia Tech. Your boy Juice Farine's joining
Michigan State.
Vince Lombardi. No, Juice Farine's going to Colorado State.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's joining Vince Lombardi at Colorado State. So
and that's phenomenal for him. He'll do great there. Not blocking and dropping passes.
Wait, you can't.
He had the most drops out of anyone on the team. Statistically.
Where did you see that?
I was told that.
But see, Steve, let me just correct you for a minute here. And I love you. I think you're great, but you can't take everything people tell you as gospel unless there's statistics on it.
There were statistics on it.
But who saw
I'm curious if PFF has stats on it.
It was
Mike Burton.
No, it was. I don't want to release his name, but he's a coach on the team who's no longer a coach on the team. Who said that?
So Kashif told you.
damn it. So statistically for the targets,
Okay. All right.
he had the most drops. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, now that you say you got
Do
it from coach,
do they publish those stats? I'm curious if they
No.
publish those stats.
They
No, I
publish
guarantee
they do publish the targets normally, but they do it
They
for
do?
the NFL.
some do.
I don't know if they
Some
do for the
schools
college.
do in their stat broadcast. Some don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah,
They
some
do. I
some
know they
don't.
do it in the NFL. I don't know if they do it in
Yeah,
they
college.
definitely
I
do.
don't. I don't think everybody does it. Some schools do it in college. Some don't. So
And
He had 22 catches, and you said he had 5 drops on the year.
no, he had more. He had more targets, and he had a lot of. I believe what I was told. He led the team in drops and had the highest percentage as far as targets to catches and drops. The more he was targeted, the more drops he
I didn't
had.
think he was targeted that much. To be honest with you, that was a big point of our show. Was that he didn't get targeted a lot.
He did get targeted kind of at the midpoint of the season. They were kind of forcing him the ball and trying to get it to him.
Interesting that he goes to Colorado State to me.
Well, he was at NC State. A Power 4 conference school is going to take him. What do you do with him? He can't block. He's not a tight end. He's a matchup problem in the slot as a receiver. Right. He's a big receiver, basically.
And he's technically going with one of his position coaches. Even though that coach was a wide receiver coach at UConn, but he's going with familiarity. I could see that.
Exactly. Yeah. And I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I just was like, Cam Edwards, thrilled for. Nobody did more for UConn. Nobody played harder. And, I think being a Power 4 conference running back is going to be challenging for him.
Yeah, but
just because of his size.
But it's not Power 4. Colorado State's not Power 4.
Oh, I thought you said Cam. I thought you said.
Oh, Cam Edwards is going to Michigan State.
Michigan State, yeah.
I got stuck on Vereen. My bad.
Yeah.
You're right.
But yeah,
you're right.
I that's my only thing with his size. I don't know how he'll do it. Like, I don't see him as a Big Ten running back. But running backs are, a dime a dozen. That's my thing. But I do like from the transfer class the running back from Central Michigan. I think he has a chance to be something special because we need that, and we've pretty much lost everyone. I don't know if MJ Flowers got picked up or not. The other guy I would like to see is the D lineman from Texas, Melvin Hills, redshirt freshman. He was just talking to Julius Williams. He was a 3-star recruit who, with the teams we play, may stand out. Our D line this year was definitely deficient because we were missing guys like Jelani Stafford. But I think for the first wave of visits, he brought in some good guys, and he landed a quarterback too.
Yep. Well, he had recruited him to the quarterback. He had recruited him to Toledo. And he followed him to Toledo.
He has all the stuff on catches and targets.
Okay.
Had 32 targets. He had let's see, how many drops did he have? Go here. It's there's 9,000 guys on here. He had, there it is. Juice Farine had, it looks like, doesn't say any drops.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at what they report. They report 0 drops.
Yeah, probably doesn't report it.
Targets, 22 catches, says 0 drops.
22 catches. Yeah. He was
32
targeted.
targets, 22 catches, 0 drops, it says here.
Yeah. He had more drops. Just watch
I'm just giving you
how many drops did Skylar Bell have?
Skylar Bell. I have to go into receiver. Hold on a second. It's a great system, but it's just it's fast, but it's just a little okay. Skylar should be at the top because they had so many. All right, Skylar Bell, 1 drop.
Okay, so I'll tell you right now.
I'm just telling what PFF reports.
Yep, I'm going to give you another fucking report.
Drop percentage 14%. And then what is this DROP of? And his let's see how they rate the drops. Like the kid from
all right, so 41 targets, 12 drops, 22 catches, 24/7.
Well, this says 32 targets, 22 receptions, and I'm not like you. I can't pay to find out how many drops there were.
It says I'm just looking at unless DRP
So
is not.
I win.
Where'd you get that from?
24/7.
I honestly, I'll take PFF's results over 24/7.
Okay. Well, I don't care. Screw him.
24/7 Sports says he has 12 drops on the year.
Yeah. And 41 targets.
That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
12 drops, he wouldn't get balls thrown to him.
He got a lot of balls thrown to him. They forced balls to him. They forced like 12 to him in the Delaware game.
He dropped the ball 12 times.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just going off of what it says here. It doesn't say that.
I'm just going off what it says here.
All right, let's stop it because this is
You have to
bad.
pull it up. 12 drops.
This is bad.
Most guys, 12 drops would never play again. If a guy
not when they're forced the ball and the ball is overthrown and he gets a hand on it and it's considered a drop.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what somebody considers a drop. I'm just looking at what the ratios were.
It's subjective.
Of course, it's subjective.
But I'm telling you,
that's the biggest thing. It's subjective. So this is
I'm telling you, the way that it was kept, the way that the stats were kept at UConn, that is why they backed off him. If you noticed, he had 22 catches. After the BC game, he was not targeted. Do you recall? Air Force.
Well, he caught balls after BC.
Okay, here we go.
Not much.
This is what they have as the drops here. So PFF has DRP is drops are on target passes dropped by receiver. So I guess if it's an off target pass, contested catches, like that's usually a pretty good number to see. Like what's his name? Because I'm just curious what's his name had. Who had so many catches?
Skylar.
I was curious what he was on contested catches. Let's see. Skylar Bell had 141 targets
and 100 and something 13 catches.
He had 8 contested catches, caught 3 of those.
Right.
It's interesting what PFF has here. And then it has a grade. It has a drop grade for them, which is for hands drop. So like Skylar Bell has a 53.4% grade, which is not very high, I guess. And
No.
which is surprising to me actually.
Right.
And then
right.
Let me see. I wish they had a search. God, I mean, such a great site. Why don't they have a search button?
By the way, for Juice Vereen, he caught 5 balls against Duke. So to say he wasn't targeted is not the truth.
I have 2 balls against Duke.
Well, I'm looking at the website. I'm looking at the UConn website, Steve, that does the stats. So if you think they're wrong, that's fine. But he caught 2 balls against Rice, 3 balls against UAB, and 5 balls against Duke.
Okay.
Yep. And then
Facts don't lie.
Yeah.
Facts don't lie.
Yep. I'm not lying.
Well, all right. So it says.
What do you mean you're not lying? You where are you getting this information from that he didn't
Juice
catch
has
any
a
balls?
70%. So Skylar had a 53% drop percentage, which is really like average, very average. But he obviously had a million throws at him. Vereen has 70%. So it's actually that's actually a pretty high rating. When you get to 80, it's like those are all like really highly rated. You know, either they didn't have a ton of catches, you know what I mean, and they just caught all of them, but that's actually actually a pretty good rating.
That's a great rating.
Yeah, I don't know why what's his name is not
phenomenal.
I don't know why what's his name's is I don't really understand exactly PFF grade. Yeah, for hands. So he has a 70% hands rating grade, which is very high.
Whereas that's great.
Tyler only has a 50% rating. Which is interesting.
Right.
Which I wonder if they utilize when they rate it. I think part of it probably is are there balls that they could have gotten to that they didn't get to. He's got a high rate. I mean, I don't know.
I think it's subjective. What's a drop? What's
subjective.
not?
It's definitely
What's
subjective.
That? Yeah.
There's no like I think it's all people that rate it. I don't think there's like a AI engine that's like surrounding them and it makes it exact ratio every time.
Right.
You know, they're not using that.
Right.
Okay. All right. So you don't like Juice Vereen either? Is that
No, I think he's completely overrated. He can't block. He just wants to catch balls and brings nothing to the table.
How many times during the year did you say you wanted to see him throw to him more?
He was a great target. He was a great weapon. He was a great weapon to use. Absolutely. He was a great weapon, but he's very limited. Absolutely. But he's very limited in what he can do.
I would say he's a specialized player for tight end.
Yeah.
He's really is.
And you telegraph every time he's in the game, you know what they're doing. Because they can't run the ball with him in the game. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see here. I'll tell you right now.
What happened to Sean, by the way?
He must have not got on 5. He must have had an important call. And then here.
So on UConn's people in the transfer portal that came to them. So I noticed they got some gigantic linemen. That was the big thing that he added. It looks like.
Well, yeah, he has to rebuild his offense. He has to rebuild his
1, 2, 3, 4 gigantic linemen.
Yeah, he had to rebuild his line.
The guy from Texas, you said, which I think a high level guy coming down to our level is proven to be pretty effective for
the Texas guy's a D lineman. The Texas guy's a D lineman.
D lineman, yeah. I'm saying, but like guys that are on the line that come down from the higher level, I think do pretty well just because they're probably bigger and more physical than a lot of the guys we play against. But next year our schedule's different, so it's not necessarily the case, right? So that's interesting who he's got. He got a receiver that was really that had a lot of catches. He picked up a running back that's okay.
Well, he's really got to rebuild the running back room, like Steve
Yeah.
said, because you've lost your top 3 running backs.
Yeah.
So he's really got to rebuild there.
Right. The
They're all
running
gone.
back, one running back, Bowers, is that how you say it? Bowers?
Good guess. Hey, your guess is as good as ours.
He was the number 1 JUCO running back when he came out, but really didn't. He had okay production last year. And then the other guy is from Central Michigan, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a little. Those two are a little bit of a roll of the dice.
Well, but isn't it all? Because I mean, that's the thing that impresses me about or not impresses me, but stands out about the transfer portal is you're taking chances on kids that didn't play at bigger schools. Maybe the bigger schools learned that they couldn't play. You know, I mean, I guess you really got to wait till you see him in spring ball, and then wait until you see him on the field next fall. You know,
That's what makes Indiana so good, is that he took 13 starters from JMU. He didn't take 13 backups from JMU. He didn't take 13 average players from JMU.
Right.
He took 13 starters with him to Indiana. And those 13 starters are now, I think, still starting, or most of them are still starting. So, the receiver, Surratt, is a JMU guy. The running back is a JMU guy, and then he couples that with Mendoza. There is I don't know if it's Indiana that's doing the best job of it, or he got maybe a little lucky, but it seems like they're starting to form a model with the transfer portal that works for certain types of teams, because I wonder at the highest level, when you get to the highest level and you get transfers, it's probably even more of a roll of the dice, because the level that you have to be at the highest level is so high that every transfer is definitely a roll of the dice, because you're playing against top competition. Whereas if you go down a level, it may be less of a risk, because you're playing lesser level players. You take a guy from a higher level, or take a guy that's moving up that performed really well. There's more wiggle room for success. But I think at the highest level, there's almost very little wiggle room, unless you get a bona fide star, which is going to be good.
Right.
I have a question. I'm curious, Joe, your thoughts on this. If Arch Manning came out this year, which he's not, but I'm saying, let's say he did come out this year, would he be the number 2 guy to go, quarterback wise?
No, I think if Moore comes out, he would still be number 2. I think Manning would be late first round, early second round. I just don't think he got better as the year went along. But I just don't, think. I think Simpson would still go ahead of him. But again, who knows with Corey? Brock Purdy was the last guy picked in the draft. How's he been?
Right.
It's just all a crapshoot. Cully, what do you think?
Caleb Williams, who was picked high, obviously he's done great, and Drake May's done great, right? So but Jaden Daniels is now, he's a little injury prone. He's not that big. I think there's a couple of exceptions, but I think quarterbacks in the NFL, I think the ones that are having a lot of more success that are the younger are big dudes.
Yeah.
They're big dude. Caleb Williams is a pretty big dude. Drake May's a big dude. Herbert's a big dude. Josh Allen's a big dude.
Yeah, Dart's big.
Yep.
Dart's got good size.
Dart's got good size. I think those defensive players are so fast and strong that if you don't have some level of literal, obviously Mahomes is a heavier guy. He's 235 pounds. So, you could take shots, whereas I think the hardest thing with like eventually like what's happened with Lamar, who is by far the fastest guy of all of these guys of all time, basically. You know, maybe Michael Vick's the only other guy. When you're so, it's not that he doesn't weigh a decent amount. It's just that his frame is so slim that you start to take a shot, and it's like you take a shot after shot when you run, and it just I think it wears the players down if they don't have a certain amount of size. There are a couple of guys like Kyler Murray's really struggled. Bryce Young's been hit or miss. Stroud, even though he's not super tall, he's thick. Stroud is a thick guy. Like that.
Right.
That thicker build seems to be able to handle a lot more punishment than you know. Tua is like not like, even though he's not like stout though. You know what I mean? He's just it's a big difference. These guys that are stout, especially the taller guys that are stout, they seem to be able to handle the abuse a lot more because you're getting clobbered. You know, no matter how much they take out what you could do to them, they're still getting clobbered. But it's interesting to see that. Like, I see with like Dante Moore, it doesn't look that big to me. I don't know. I could be wrong. He doesn't.
Well, that's what happened to Michael Penix Jr. He tore his ACL.
Right.
He's on the smaller side.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson is limited what he can do schematically, so they have to run him. So he's going to take more hits naturally.
Yep. No,
that's why he gets hurt.
Yep, exactly.
And he's the fastest guy by far, right? I mean,
and Steve mentioned the right word, schematically. You got to get with a coach. You've got to be in a system where they understand who you are. I mean, Harbaugh did that with Jackson
Todd Monken. Yep.
And Todd Monken, right? Exactly, Steve. Did that with him in Baltimore. I mean, look at May has fit into a perfect system in Foxborough with McDaniels and Vrabel. You know, Williams has gotten the perfect coach for him.
Ben Johnson.
In Chicago, right? I mean, Williams wasn't great last year. He wasn't even good last year. But this year he's got an offensive head coach in Ben Johnson. It's you know, just like we'll see with these kids transferring into UConn. Obviously, I would think Candle is bringing kids in. He knows what he wants to do systematically, and he's bringing in kids who will fit in that system. I think this week we're going to see more. I don't know what you boys think, but I think this week we see more guys coming out of the transfer portal, and we'll see what else UConn gathers. Because I mean, look, as Steve said, they have a lot to rebuild. You got to rebuild the running back room. Receivers. You got to get, as you said, I think you got to get a splashy wide receiver. To me, that's the position where you need splash in the transfer portal. You need guys who can go. I mean, they struck gold in Skylar Bell. But in the portal, those guys to this level are few and far between. I know we only have a few minutes left, but I want to get your thoughts on this as
Skylar Bell was a 3-time transfer.
Right. Was he? Exactly. So
we were his third school.
So when I watch these teams, especially this past weekend, the Final Four teams, it strikes me at how far away from being at that level UConn is. Those teams. Now you got to recruit. Now, if you're in a Power Four conference, with all due respect to the players who have come here to this point, you got to recruit a different cap. You got to recruit players who are going to be able to play at that level, right? But when I watch these teams,
or recruit older guys.
Well, Joe, it's the money being spent. Oregon spent $40 to $50 million on that team.
Did they really?
Miami is spending $20 to $30 million on their team. The only team that hasn't spent is been Indiana. They haven't spent as much as the other teams.
But they that's where you're spent a lot, though. I think they did spend a decent amount.
They did, but I'm saying they spent the least amount. Yeah. The least amount out of the teams that were in the Final Four.
Okay. Right, who was it? Miami. Oh, okay, yeah, the teams that are left. Yeah, we're left. Yeah.
Well, no, the teams that were in the Final Four, Indiana spent the list. Yes.
Yeah, they spent the list.
Ole Miss raised a good amount of money.
I saw a
Oregon's
thing.
got a fortune.
I saw an article that said is the big, whatever you call it now, the Big 10, 18, whatever, it's spelling the death of the SEC.
Yeah, people are upset because this could be the third year in a row a Big Ten team wins a national championship. And the Big Ten has more money because they're saying the money comes from up north.
Right.
But how can that be? The SEC says it matters more to the SEC.
It does. No, believe me, it does. But
I think
well, but it's not showed off in championships.
No, it's not.
A little bit, Steve. We talked about how on one of the podcasts how
the donors and the
Miami
money
has a ton of money, right? That
Miami, yes, because it's Miami's a private university.
Donors.
Yes.
State of Texas does, but it's a little bit spread out.
Texas has the oil money, yep.
But
other than that,
you're going to have it in your California schools, definitely. Okay, it's whether they're willing to spend it. And then you're going to have a great amount of money in your northern schools just because of the history, how long those schools have been around, and the number of alumni that you have from it that are really successful. So where the SEC had an initial advantage, the outside of the hotspot areas like South Florida or Texas,
because they could recruit the best. Now they can't buy.
Now you go anywhere. Right, you go anywhere. So these northern schools that have more, some of them have more money to spend. They literally can get whoever they want.
That's what's making.
Well,
the
and
difference.
it's in Miami's favor too for being able to spend more. I think it's Miami. Is that the ACC passed a thing that the money you make you keep. That doesn't get spread out through everybody in
the revenue sharing.
Really?
Right. Yeah. Yes. So
that's how they were able to keep Florida State and Tennessee from leaving.
Yeah, so they're going to make $20 million.
Wow.
That's how they were able to keep Florida State.
That's a great deal for them.
And because remember, Florida State and Clemson wanted to leave. That's how they were able to
remember. Yes,
they
exactly.
They didn't want a revenue share because they felt they were generating the majority of revenue for the conference.
How about Dylan Raiola, Steve and Joe? So Dylan Raiola, who was the number one quarterback when he came out of high school, whose father's the O-line coach at Nebraska. Dylan Raiola is now at his fifth school, high school and college. Sixth school between high school and college in 7 years.
Yeah,
wrong.
He left Nebraska.
What's wrong with college sports? It's one of the big things that's wrong with college.
High schools in 4 years he went to, and now he's on his second college in 3 years. Is it? This is
he was at Nebraska for 2, I believe.
No, this will be his third year, right? Yeah. Wow,
it's about the money, man. It's all about green. It's all about the green.
If you transfer a third time, if you transfer a second time, you should sit out.
And they made a huge mistake with the transfer portal. 15 days. It's been a mad scramble.
It's a mess.
And there were like 30% of the kids signed that were actually in the portal. So it sucks for them. They're going to have to go through the spring and try to find a home. It's going to be a mess.
Yeah, but they will. If they're good enough, don't you think they will?
No, I don't, because I think that so many people assume that I'm going to go in the transfer portal, I'm going to get paid, and it just doesn't materialize. I think too many kids think the grass is greener and they're going to get paid because they see everyone else getting paid. They see Carson Beck getting $10 million at Miami, and they say, oh, that can be me. So they jump in the portal. Like Victor Rosa, he transfers to Ohio. I mean, do you think he got a ton of money to go to Ohio? I mean, that's just my feeling on it.
No, but I would think in some kids' sake, it's just the chance to play.
If that's the reason, then yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think with some kids, and I agree with your theory that to a degree, Steve, that everybody thinks they're going to get rich, but it's kind of like in baseball now, where you two big free agents are looking for monstrous contracts, and nobody's willing to give them the years. So
Right.
this is gonna for baseball. This is gonna go into February before Bellinger and Tucker and some of those people sign. I think in college football, if you don't get signed immediately, then you've got to lower your expectations if you want to go play. And those kids
Exactly.
won't make as much money, but they'll still make money. It's just not
Yes.
going to be. It's just not going to be what the first signees make, because obviously those are the ones who the schools have
No.
targeted as being the most important.
And I agree. I think that's the right way. If you're going in the transfer portal because you want a better opportunity to play, I think that's great.
Right. And I would
But
guess
I
that's why
also,
High school
Rosa.
player in the long run here.
yes,
What happens to high school sports? I mean, football and basketball are most affected, but football probably the most. What happens to high school sports, especially football?
it's
Because if football is a sport when kids are growing up, it's hard enough, because of the whole concussion thing years ago that became popular. It's hard enough to get moms to agree to let their kids play, right? So now, let's take out the big areas, like whatever town or state that is really, really big. Let's take those out of the mix. For most of America, that's how the moms are. Most people look at football, obviously a great sport to play, but it's also used to be the most opportunistic sport for you. Meaning,
yes, you did
go to college, to get an opportunity to go to college, to get an opportunity to get a scholarship.
Yes.
Hands down, football. I used to say to high school kids, it was like
Don't waste your
8-1.
time.
Yeah, it was 8-1 over basketball.
There's 85 scholarships. I know we
Right.
got to wrap this up, but I think, Dave, you're going to see the proliferation of flag football. That's going to take off, especially with it now being an
Really?
Olympic sport.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an Olympic sport now. Girls are getting scholarships for flag football. I think you're going to see there's club flag football teams at colleges, and I think eventually flag football is going to possibly become an NCAA sport or of some kind.
Boys side too?
Yeah, it's an Olympic sport. I think they have to put it there.
Well, it's just this year. We don't. I just 28. We don't know.
Right. We don't know if
it's
it's
going to
going
go
to
to 32. And
correct.
Trust me, I'm not worried about the 32 Olympics.
Correct.
I just want to get to 28.
It's they're testing the waters. But
and,
Dave,
let me just on the NIL thing. There's NIL, as you said. Football and men's basketball are the two biggest. Some schools have it in women's basketball. UConn does, because you hear kids doing ads all the time. Some do it in hockey. The Big Ten, I'm sure, does it in hockey. I don't know what Hockey East does as far as that's concerned. And the other one is college baseball, which is big business. The SEC and the Big Ten do it. Again, I don't know. I'm sure there's some at UConn, but it's not a lot. It's not a lot of money. And that is the big, and to put a bow on it, that's what the big discrepancy is, that it's not a level playing field.
No, there's the haves and the have-nots.
When it was just recruiting kids, well, haves and have-nots as far as money is concerned, not as far as being able to compete. You can bring in a team that is not making a lot of money in the Olympic sports, not necessarily in football or basketball.
Right.
But you can bring in a team in the Olympic sports where you don't get a lot of NIL money and you can still compete for a championship.
The non-revenue sports, absolutely.
That's what separate. Well, but in some places, Steve, hockey does bring in revenue.
I didn't mean hockey. I'm talking like swimming, diving, gymnastics.
Yes, right. Well, those are that's.
But yes, baseball, hockey. I mean, I know Michigan spends a ton on hockey.
Michigan's got to spend a lot to negotiate their coaches out of.
And I know that Texas spends a lot on baseball as well, but they're all going over the $20 million cap because they don't think it can be enforced, and that's why you're seeing some schools spend a lot more than others.
Well, and I think too, there's some ways that you can circumnavigate that $20 million.
That's what they're doing,
and that's wrong too. So
Yeah, it is.
people, but you know what, guys? The bottom line is people have always cheated. So
no, but we did a show on the SMU and the death penalty. It started before that.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
but
All right, Cully, wrap it up.
Another banner episode.
Terrific.
For the icon, legendary voice of the Huskies, the best of the best, Joe D, Coach Schumann, ready to go. I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. This has been Husky Huddle. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back at life.